Sticks and stones may break my bone, but nothing will ever kill me.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
So what is up? This is gonna be a re-upload. I did have this video up yesterday. It was doing pretty well with the views, the views. And I didn't like it because I made the video wearing that awesome Leatherface mask that I love. Got from Spirit Halloween, pretty damn cool. But the audio from that mask was shit. So I tried doing subtitles. All those apps fucking suck. They use AI to generate it, and it's said freaking words I didn't even say. So I was like, I'm gonna upload it and just let it be. I didn't like that. I was like, I want my videos to be at least a little professional. So here we are, re-recording it. So I'm going to be reading from the script that I should have done days ago. Just re-record it. But here we go. I'm about to re-record it. Please watch this again. I apologize for the people who watched this the first time. Please watch it again. It's a good video. Before I had awful audio. But here we go. I still hope you're enjoying this year's Spooktactular Fool. And yeah, here we go. Welcome back to another episode of Spooktactular Fool. Ain't this mask awesome? I mean, come on, look at it, the detail. You guys can watch my mask reviews online. But today I finally get to talk about just not a movie I like. We're going to talk about, to me, the best horror film of all time. And one of my favorite movies of all time, the wonderful 1970s Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, I'm going to talk about why it's the best movie ever while wearing this mask. Oh shit, I'm about to be a sweaty mess. You could say the story is simple. I can't argue with that. But even if it's a simple story, it's rich with the characters and scary and it has really amazing, disturbing moments. I think the story is fantastic. It's about these college friends going on a road trip to see if Sally and Franklin's grandpa is still at his grave since there's been a rise in grave stealing. Or robbing. Batman and Robin. Robbing. And it goes wrong by them being naive and nosy. Think about it. This was the 1970s. Yes, it wasn't safe world back then, but people back then trusted people. Even if that person seemed weird as hell, people would be like, well, he's trustworthy. I'll hitchhike with him. It's crazy how naive people were back then. And we see this with this movie, with most of the killings happening because they were naive and trusted those people. And they were goddamn nosy. That's where I get to this movie is the horror version of Home Alone. Because 80% of the victims that get killed were intruders. Let me explain. Imagine, you're in your house chilling. Then you hear knocks and loud noises. Are you going to answer the door? If you're smart, like me. No. No. If you don't know them, you don't answer. So Leatherface does that. He ignores them until one of the characters named Kirk just walks into the house. That's where Leatherface strikes. And then Kirk's girlfriend goes into the house unannounced. I mean, yeah. Leatherface shouldn't have killed them, but they technically were intruders, and Leatherface is just protecting his house. Why I think this movie should get more credit as being the first slasher movie to reinvent the genre, I'm not gonna lie, the first Halloween is good. I don't think it should get the credit for reinventing the genre. When you had Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, that was 4 years before Halloween. I mean, to be honest, the movie that should get more attention, for being one of the first slasher films, but also being better than Halloween, it's Black Christmas. That movie is fucking good, and way better than Halloween. I'm sorry, no, I'm not. I am a Michael Myers hater. I think he gets too much attention when there are way better slashers and better horror films than Halloween. Yeah, I'm being a petty bitch, I don't care. But why I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre should be recognized for reinventing the slasher films and should play on AMC Network a lot more in October is because of the daytime horror. What do I mean? Well, when you think of daytime, you think you're safe. You aren't worried, while at night, you feel uneasy, uncomfortable, scared. You see that with most horror films. The amazing scary moments happen during the nighttime. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre was different. That had 90% of the scary moments happen during the daytime. Most of the college friends all get killed during the day. This movie shows so well, whenever time of the day it is, you can always be in danger. So let's finally talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it starts with the great narrating of John Larroquette with his low tone of voice. It adds to the fantastic creepiness. And the scroll of text explains the true crime of what happened to these young people. It was so horrific and bizarre in the American history. They call it the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No, it's not true, but as a first-time viewer, you could believe this was true, and it makes it even more scary to think about is what is true is what heavily inspired this movie was the real-life killer, Ed Gein. Fun fact, not really fun, I'm in the same state as that disgusting psychopath. You know, Wisconsin does breed killers. Jesus Christ. Then there's a van driving, and we meet our characters. There's Jerry and Sally. Him and Sally are dating. I mean, look at Jerry. Goddamn, when you think of the 70s, that's what you imagine. Hell yeah, Jerry. Then there's Pam and Kirk, who are also dating. And then there's the little bitch, Franklin, who's Sally's brother. If that sounded mean, you will soon understand why I say that. And they stop because Franklin's gotta go to the bathroom, and they can all stretch and move their legs. And clumsy Franklin, who's in a wheelchair, rolls down the grassy hill. Not his fault though, because there was a fast car driving past him, spooking Kirk out and scaring Franklin, rolls down, falls to the grass. And so they all get back to the van, and they see this hitchhiker. I cannot believe that was a thing people used to do, hitchhike. You know how fucking nuts that is today? You know how dangerous that is now? Because our country is like the fucking Twilight Zone. People in this country now are so fucking crazy and terrifying. It's terrifying living in this country. So, what was my point? Oh yeah, hitchhikers. You pick someone up if they had a thumbs up? You better say nah, just say, that's a nice hot thumb. I don't know why you would say that. And drive off, and you can say nothing. But on Texas Chainsaw, this hitchhiker has blood on his face. Looks like he hasn't... No shit, he looks like he's never taken a shower. Looks like a future Trump supporter, so that's already scary. So, don't pick him up. But again, like I said, these characters are very naive and too nice and want to help. So they let the hitchhiker into the van, and right away acts like a meth addict, just talking about the most random shit. Talking about how he works at a slaughterhouse and how he loves how to cut up the cows and how he loves taking pictures of what he does. Then he cuts himself, and when he cuts himself, he feels nothing. You know, freaking everyone out in the van, understandably. But then Franklin, who again is being very nice to this weird odd guy, he's really the only one paying attention to this hitchhiker, looks at Franklin and is like, hey, I'm hungry, you fatty, and cuts poor Franklin. That's when finally college friends kick the hitchhiker out. And very rude, the hitchhiker spits and spreads his blood on the van. Dude, you're gonna stain the nice coat on that van. Dude, shame. So understandable, Franklin freaks out, and Sally helps him out with the cut. Then, goddamn, they run out of gas. So Jerry goes to the gas station, And right away, you feel this town is suspicious. Reminds you of a sundown town. Like, these people have done some fucked up things. But they get out of the van, go into the gas station, and one worker cleans the van. Well, thank you, sir. How about giving it some gas, you know? And the owner talks to Jerry about how they can't afford refilling the gas, so... Okay. Then Franklin says probably the stupidest line in the movie. He's like, did I deserve to get caught? What? Franklin, you fucking nuts? Even the friend Kirk couldn't believe what Franklin said and laughs at him. Yeah, same. Frank, grow some balls. Then they leave the gas station eating some of that sausage from the store. Huh, that's some good meat, eh? So then Franklin recognizes the road they're on and asks if they can visit their grandparents' house. Jerry drives to the house, and right away, again, you're like, this is weird and sus. Because when they get to the house, it looks like no one has lived there in decades. The wallpaper's falling down, spider webs everywhere, and friends don't see anything wrong. They're just here to have a good time. Sally shows them around. There's one dialogue where I'm like, Sally, what the hell? Jerry asks if her grandparents died, and she just laughs it off. I'm like, okay, girl. Who the hell laughs at that? So Kirk and Pam ask poor Franklin, who's on the first floor alone, talking to himself angry, because people left, and I'm sorry. No, I'm not, Frank. You don't shut the fuck up, and they probably need a break from you. But Kirk and Pam ask him if they have a pool in the back. Franklin says yeah, so Pam and Kirk go outside to look for the pool in the back. But instead of the pool, it's all dried up. Kirk sees this house in the back, and him and Pam go to see if they have gas they can borrow. But again, showing how naive and they trust too much, they kind of ignore that there's a bunch of cards hidden in this house yard. Guys, red flags should be popping in your head. But no, again, they're just very naive. Again, this is, guys, you should be running moment. They get to the porch, and Kirk picks up a random tooth, and instead of being disgusted, I don't know, maybe he thinks it's fake? He throws it at his girlfriend Pam. She gets annoyed, understandably. Walks away, and Kirk knocks on the door and asks for help. No one's answering, so he's like, well, it's the 70s, everyone is cool, right? Just walks into the house. Kirk, buddy, you can't do that. Then Leatherface does a pig voice. Kirk is like, oh, I like piggies. It goes to the sound and bam, Leatherface hits Kirk in the head with a hammer. And how it's filmed is so scary because it feels realistic, because Kirk starts to shake his body, have a seizure, and as he gets hit in the head by the hammer. Again, the horror element is done so well with this movie. So Pam gets up from the bench. We get the most famous shot from the franchise and walks into the house. Again, guys can't do that. And she goes to the living room. And this is when, as an audience, you're like, oh, this house is fucked up. Because the furniture is of human skin. Other pieces are bones. It's just disgusting. Because everyone Leatherface killed, he never hid or buried their bodies. He cut them up and used them to decorate the house. Guys, this is fashion. Why are you acting like I'm weird? It's fashion, dude. Totally not disgusting and messed up. So as soon as Pam gets smart, she decides to run away. Too late. Because as soon as she gets outside, Leatherface grabs her, bringing her back into the house, showing again, daytime, you ain't safe. Then the rest of the college friends, Frank, Sally, and Jerry, are waiting for Pam and Kirk to return. And they all yell their names, and as soon as they get annoyed, Jerry decides to look for Pam and Kirk. And Jerry finds the house Pam and Kirk went to, and for Jerry's credit, he just doesn't walk into the house. He actually knocks, waits for the owner. The only reason he goes into the house is because Leatherface is making noises at him. Jerry's like, oh, I like noises. And he goes to the kitchen. Notices how strange this kitchen is, with the meat hooks hanging from the ceiling. And he hears sounds from the freezer, goes to it, and bam, opens it, and Pam pops out. Then Jerry's freaked out now, and Leatherface hits and kills Jerry with a sledgehammer. Poor Jerry, man, R.I.P., especially that damn afro. And again, to Leatherface's defense, those guys were intruders. So much that Leatherface freaks out and sees if there's anyone else in the house. And he starts licking the sweet teeth of his. Okay, stop, dude. So now, without Jerry, Sally and Franklin look for Jerry. until poor Franklin gets killed by Leatherface by shoving the chainsaw into his stomach. It's the most gruesome death, but again, what's so smart about this movie is they don't really show any of the kills. It's up to your brain, and your brain makes it a lot more gruesome. But yeah, so poor Franklin's dead. And Sally, the smartest character, freaks out. Understandable. Runs off, and we get our first chase scene between Leatherface and Sally. And she goes through some rough shit. She first goes to his house. She doesn't know it belongs to Leatherface. And she gets to the house. She runs upstairs. Leatherface saws down the door. He must have forgot his keys. But she's super brave, because as soon as Leatherface gets into the house, runs up the stairs, she, right away, something we would never do, she's like a freaking ninja. She jumps out of the window high up, falls to the ground. Even Leatherface has to acknowledge that was crazy. She's hurt, but bleeding, but she doesn't care. Survival mode is going on. Runs away while Leatherface is right behind her. Can't lie, I would die right away. That much running, yeah, I would be out of breath. I would be like, I'm done. Get it over with. But Sally runs back to the gas station where the owner comforts her, tells her she's going to be okay. Then he goes to get something from his truck, returns with a potato sack and rope. Yeah, he's working for Leatherface. God damn, poor Sally. He tries fighting back, but the broom has too much power and knocks her the fuck out. He drives back to the house and sees the hitchhiker. And this is when you realize, oh, the hitchhiker is also working for Leatherface, because yes, they're a family. They're brothers. Even if the oldest, the owner, looks like the father, they're all brothers that kill, and yes, they eat people. They're cannibals. So they get back to the house. They tie up Sally to the chair in the dining room, and this is when we get to the most disturbing scenes from this movie. I think it's the most disturbing scene I've ever seen with any movie. It's how it's filmed and acted. It's so creepy and terrifying. It feels real, like you're watching a documentary. It's sometimes hard to watch these scenes because it's so disturbing. Because they mentally torture her, yelling at her, making fun of her, taunting her. Then they have the grandpa try to kill Sally, but before that, they have him suck the blood off her finger, and he dances like, oh damn, that tastes delicious, yeah. I can't lie, that scene is funny because he's so happy to drink her blood, and he dances in delightness, like, yeah. It's very a subtle comedic scene. That's a very subtle comedic scene. Then there's another kind of comedic scene where the grandpa keeps failing to hit her with the hammer because he's old as fuck. He's over 100 years old. Sally gets away, runs away from the house, but the hitchhiker runs, catches up to her, starts cutting her back over and over. But luckily for her, he gets run over by a semi-truck. Hell yeah. Now Leatherface is after her, but luckily that driver of the semi-truck helps her escape, hits Leatherface in the head with a tool he had. Then Sally gets away from hopping onto the back of the truck, with Leatherface chasing the truck until he gets tired. He screams, turns into laughter. That sweet Sally from the beginning is gone. She's this traumatized woman. She's mentally snapped. Then we get to the most iconic, famous scene from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, where Leatherface angrily dances with the chainsaw. The end. To me, the greatest horror film of all time, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh my god. I don't know how actors do that because I am sweating. Almost had a heat stroke making this video. I'm lightheaded. But what makes Texas Chainsaw Massacre so good is Leatherface, because one of the things is Leatherface, because usually with these horror icons, Freddy, Jason, you could say Pearl, they're all crazy and they're evil and they do these things by themselves. Leatherface is very much special needs, and he gets manipulated and gaslit by his evil family to do these evil killings. So if you kind of think about it, sickly, Leatherface is a very sympathetic killer because he doesn't do it because he wants to, he's made to do it because, again, since he's special needs, he's very easily manipulated and gaslit by his family to do these evil things. But also what makes it so good, it feels like you're watching a documentary. How it's filmed, the cinematography is beautiful. Like I said, you can say the story's simple, but I still think it is fantastic. The characters are rich with characteristics that are believable, development, and when they get killed, you feel so bad and you're scared because you connected to these characters. I don't know. To me, it's the best movie ever made. On the list of my favorites of all time is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. I love this movie. I think it's one of the greatest horror films ever made. If you like this video, give it a like. Subscribe because it's free and it's kind. Follow me on my socials. I'm mostly on Bluesky. I'll see you guys later. On to the next Spooktactular Fool. Peace.